These are a little bit harder, but not too bad. It just kind of puts last unit and this unit together. So when you go to solve this one, I can't move the 16 or the 10, so I need to square both sides first. When I square this side, remember it gets rid of the radical. And on this side, I end up with a squared. Now I've got an a squared, and that's back to what we were doing before. Whenever we have something squared, we either need to use the quadratic formula or we need to factor it. Either way, it has to be equal to 0 before I can start, so I want to move everything over here to my a squared term. So I'm going to move 10a by doing minus 10a, and I'm going to add 16 also to go ahead and move it over here. So minus 10a and plus 16. When I go to do this, this is 0 and this is 0, so I end up with a 0 on one side like I wanted, and none of these are like terms. So I'm just going to bring them all down. So now I've got it something that I can factor. So I'm going to factor it. I'm going to use the x method because there's nothing in front of a squared, so I need to find what multiplies to give me 16 and adds to give me negative 10. Those two numbers would be negative 8 and negative 2. So my next step will look like this. A minus 8 and a minus 2. And if you remember back to last unit, you have to set each of these equal to 0. So a minus 8 so one of my answers is 8. And the other answer is 2. And don't forget that you have to go back and check them. So if I was going to check them, I would put an 8 in on this side. And when I put an 8 in on this side, I do end up getting 8. Put an 8 in on this side, and I get 8 because that's all A is. So I get 8 equals 8, so that one works. Put a 2 in on this side, and when I put a 2 in on this side in my equation, I get a 2. Put a 2 in on this side, and I also get 2. So it works for both of them. They are both answers. Let's do one more, a little bit more work, but it's not terrible. It's all stuff you've done before. So, same thing. Separate my equation. First step, square both sides. The thing is, when I square this side, this goes away. I'm just left with what's under here. But when I square this side, I have b minus 6 squared, which is the same thing as this times itself. Whoa. Let's see what's going on there. Try this again. It's the same thing as b minus 6 times itself. Technology is not liking me tonight. Alright, so whenever I do that times itself, this is where you have to FOIL. This is like the first thing we did. B times b is b squared. B times negative 6 is a negative 6b. Negative 6 times b is a negative 6b. And negative 6 times negative 6 is a positive 36. I'm still not done because I can combine like terms. So I've got b squared minus 12b plus 36. And then I still had all this stuff on the other side I haven't done anything with. Alright, so now I'm here, and just like in the last one I said, because I had an a squared, now I have a b squared, but because I have a square term, that means I need to get it equal to 0, because I'm either going to have to factor or use the quadratic formula. So if I'm going to get it equal to 0, I need to move both these things towards the square term. So I would minus 18 and add 3b. If I was going to add 3b, I would add it to the b term. If I was going to minus 18, I would subtract it from the plain number. So when I do that, I get b squared minus 9b minus 15 equals 0. Oops, sorry, just kidding. This is a positive 18. I don't know where I got that number from. Okay, so this is a positive 18. I'm going to do positive 36 minus 18. Alright, so now that it's equal to 0, I can go ahead and factor it. I got to find something that multiplies to give me 18 and adds to give me negative 9. And that would be a negative 6 and a negative 3. So I get b minus 6 and b minus 3 equals 0. So my next step is to set each thing equal to 0. And you can probably do this in your head, but if not, that's okay. So b is equal to, wow, that's not one to write. B is equal to 6 and 3, add 3, B is equal to 3. So those are my two answers. I need to check them both. If I put 6 in on this side, I get 0. If I put 6 in on this side, I also get 0, so 6 works. If I put 3 in on this side, I get negative 3. And if I put 3 in on this side, I get positive 3. So this one did not work. My only answer on this one is B equals 6.